Hello and welcome back, or welcome. I am book lover Lorna, and today we're going to talk about what I read last month. It wasn't an awful month actually. I've had some months where I've got a little bit behind. I was previously like 7 or 8 books ahead of my Goodreads target. I did fall one behind at one point, but at the end of the month I've kind of smashed a couple out and got back to kind of on track. So could be worse. I managed to read 7 books and my monthly goal per month should be 8. So 7 is not too bad. I'm happy with 7. 7 is good. Next month, and I say this at the end of every month, next month we're gonna do 8. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna try my best. So 7 books this month. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3. 3 of the books were review copy books. So like NetGalley or ones that have been sent to me by the author to review. So I read those on my Kindle, and then the others were physical copies, which are currently sat on my lap. So first in the month, we had Summer in the Scottish Highlands by Donna Ashcroft. Now, this has an average rating on Goodreads of 4.34 stars. I gave it 3 stars. So it says that it's for fans of Sarah Morgan. Now, I really like Sarah Morgan, but I personally found this one, and obviously this is not a Sarah Morgan book, it's Donna Ashcroft, just a little bit messy. It's about this woman who kind of goes through a really tough time. She escapes back home to where her parents live, just while a house sale is going through, meets a guy, he pushes her out of her comfort zone, all that kind of thing. But I don't know whether it was the writing style, potentially just didn't gel with me. Potentially, it's very sweet and easy reading romance, but I think, well, yeah, it was easy reading, but it just was a little bit messy as well. Because it didn't flow with me, I found that it didn't really keep my attention. I really struggled to focus on actually wanting to read it because it didn't interest me really, even though the plot was quite a good plot. I think potentially it was the writing style that kind of failed it, just didn't gel with me. Next in the month, I read The Third Wife by Lisa Jewell. Now, I enjoy a Lisa Jewell thriller. Family Upstairs, absolutely loved that, read that in a day. Read I Found You, I think I've read another one, I'm not sure. And then obviously now I've read this one. Now, I love Lisa Jewell's writing style. I think it flows very, very well. I find it very easy to read, but I didn't love the plot of this book. So essentially, it's about this very, unconventional, that's the right word, family. This woman marries the dad of the family who's had lots of wives, and she dies / is killed. And it's kind of the backstory of what happened and what was happening before she died. And I don't know, I didn't love it. I found it kind of forced. So writing style, it flowed very, very well, but I just think the storyline was a little bit forced. So I ended up giving it 3 stars. So not my favourite Lisa Jewell book, but still I can see that Lisa Jewell's writing is good. It was just the plot that I didn't like, the storyline. Next in the month, I read Sunlight Over Crystal Sands, which is by Holly Martin and number 4 in the Jewel Island series, of which the 5th book is coming out this October. It's a Christmas one. I love a Holly Martin book. We know this. We know I love Holly Martin books. So I gave this one 5 stars, obviously. It was essentially about Lyra and Nyx, and they meet each other, and it's a boom love story, boom, you're in love. It was like that. And I think it was really enjoyable. I massively loved it. It just was a very, very fast-paced love story, which is quite nice because some of her books are a little bit of a slow burner. They go from a hatred to a love kind of situation. But this was boom, your soulmates. So I really, really enjoyed that. I mean, she could write 1,000,001 books and I'd still read them and I'd still love them. So I'm hoping that Lyra and Nyx feature in a small way in the next Jewel Island book, because I really liked their characters and I thought they were good. I really liked their storyline. So 5 stars for that one. Next in the month, I read The Girls Ive Been by Tess Sharp. I gave this 5 stars. I absolutely love this and I massively recommend it. It's essentially about this woman who has grown up is she a woman or a girl? She's quite young. Going through like her entire life so far, living kind of the con life because of her mum. And she gets held up in a bank robbery. Not something that she's doing, but something that some other men are doing. And it's basically goes from how many minutes they've been held captive, her and some friends of hers, like her friend and her partner, kind of, it's a messy situation. And then other chapters back to kind of the previous life when she was living life as a con artist, and you kind of get her backstory. I think that Tess Sharp's writing is incredible. This is the first time I've read one of her books. I think she did it really, really well, properly aced it. I think the storyline was so good, the idea of the story, and therefore that's why I gave it the 5 stars, because like it all just kind of meets together perfectly. I was gripped. I really enjoyed it. It was exciting. There were a few kind of like little funny bits in there, not too much, just kind of like, you know, like that kind of funny. And yeah, I just enjoyed it. So massively recommend. Go and pick this one up. The Girls Ive Been by Tess Sharp. Next one was another NetGalley review copy, which was The Lucky Escape by Laura Jane Williams. Now, I've read some of her books before. I've read The Love Square and another one which I can't remember the name of. Yeah, I've no idea. Now, this one, it was a bit tricky for me because I really enjoyed it, but I didn't like the way that it ended. Basically, I didn't like the kind of male main character in the story. I found him really frustrating, and the way that I read him was that he was a really toxic male character in a relationship, and that didn't sit well with me. Didn't like that. It got a no from me. So because of that, I ended up giving the book 4 stars because I just really hated the guy. I was like, no, honey, no, I'm not having this. So he took away a star from the story because I didn't like it. And because I didn't like him, I didn't like the way the story ended. So, yeah, which you wouldn't get unless you read the book and if I told you more, but then I'd be ruining the story. So I thought it was quite a good story. It's essentially this woman gets... Just make sure I'm thinking of the right one because I've read some similar books recently. This woman gets jilted at the altar, and basically the future parents-in-law are like, still go on the honeymoon. So she meets this guy who she kind of knew from childhood. Stumbles across him and he ends up going on honeymoon with her, which I think is a really good kind of plot for a story. That's a very good kind of storyline idea. But yeah, I just didn't like the guy. I was like, I don't like you, honey. I do think it was quite a predictable storyline. If you'd have told me kind of like the ins and outs of the story before, I could have told you probably what was going to happen. But at the same time, because it was a bit of a unique story, I was interested. It kept me interested. I kind of wanted to know what was going to happen next. So that's a good thing, I guess. Hence 4 stars. 4 stars. 4 stars. 4 stars. Okay, 6th book of the month was Blackout. Now, this is an anthology. Is that right? Is that right? Anthology? I want to say anthropology, but that's a shop that's in Friends and in America, I'm sure. So it's an anthology. Yeah, I think that's the right word. Firstly, should we just appreciate how beautiful my edition is? Look at this. And, are you ready? Look at that. New York skyline. I haven't woken up yet today. New York skyline, can you see? I'm like shaky because I've not long been up. It's early in the morning today. This, absolutely, I love the cover. I bought the special edition from Waterstones and I just think it's so pretty. So basically, this is an anthology. The authors are Danielle Clayton, Nick Stone, Tiffany D. Jackson, Ashley Woodfolk, Angie Thomas and Nicola Yoon. Now, I've read Angie Thomas and Nicola Yoon before. And essentially it's a collection of short stories which are all... My Love Island has just started playing itself. Hold on, I had it paused. I have Love Island paused, but that was not Love Island. That was my neighbour speaking to the postman through his Ring camera. I honestly thought Love Island was playing. Right, okay, so back to what I was saying. It's a collection of short stories, of stories that kind of intertwine with each other and kind of are happening parallel to each other. And it switches between writers. Now, I found that a little bit challenging. This is the first time that I've read an anthology. And I don't know, I like books to be consistent. And we were switching between authors that write in very different styles. There was one style, I can't remember which author it was, that I found kind of annoying to read. It was like, I don't know, I guess it was like being in the mind of a young girl. I guess maybe that's why. I found it kind of difficult to read. And then there were some chapters that were like massively long, and then some chapters that were like a couple of pages. So I feel like maybe that was just showcasing the different style of writing and the way that different writers like to write. But I found that kind of hard to keep going with the book because I was getting a bit like, I've got whiplash. So I haven't told you what it's about. This is basically a New York blackout, and there are young people, basically it's all kind of linked to this one party, and it's kind of how you get around New York in a blackout. You end up with people that you don't necessarily want to be with, and obviously you're kind of stuck with them because where can you go, what can you do? There's a blackout, there's no electricity in the whole of New York. And it's basically love stories. So love stories is like love stories glow when the lights go, that kind of thing. So I thought that was quite good. I kind of like that aspect of it. The purpose of the book is to kind of give the stage to young black girls and for them to have, you know, their own love stories. And I think it hits the nail on the head for that perfectly, because there aren't a lot of books like that. And I think this kind of just massively ticks that box, because there's so many, you know, love stories in here for young black girls. So it does that really, really well. I just found that kind of maybe the anthology style isn't for me. I'd have to see by reading more anthologies to see if that is the case, or see whether it was kind of this combination of authors that didn't gel with me. How many times can I say gel today? Last read of the month was Sheet by Brenna Thumler. This is a graphic novel. So I've read the Heartstopper series and now I'm looking to explore other graphic novels. I had very, very high expectations for this and it didn't meet them. I gave them 3 stars. I gave it 3 stars, sorry. It was, if there is ever such a thing, it was a cute, sad story. Don't ask me because I don't really know. I found it quite sad to read. Like, the ending was kind of like, oh, that's nice. But the majority of the story, let's be honest, is quite sad. And if you've read it, you'll know what I mean. Now, I thought, firstly, the colour scheme in this book for the graphic part of it, I don't know if you'll be able to see very well on the camera, but the colour scheme is so nice. Like, I think it's got the perfect kind of colour palette to it. So that really liked. Visually, it's very pleasing. I just found the story really sad, and my expectations were that it would be a happy story. So that might be my bad for just not researching the novel and not knowing what was going on. I don't think I'm going to pick up the second instalment. Second instalment is called Delicates, and I just don't think, I don't know, maybe it's going to be more happy. If you've read this and Delicates, can you tell me if Delicates is more happy? Because if it is, then I'll read it. But if it's sad like this one, I don't want to read it because I don't want to read sad books. I'm not about that life. I want to read happy things. So let me know if you've read Delicates, if it's good and if it's happy. And if so, I'll pick it up. If not, tell me that it's not and I won't, because I haven't got room for sad things in my life. I have not. So that's it. Those are the 7 books that I read in what month? June. We're in July. Can you believe that we've made it to July? I actually can't. Like, we're halfway through the year. It's less than half the year until Christmas, which makes me very happy because I love Christmas. So my mind is blown that we're already closer to Christmas than we are last Christmas. My brain is not woken up yet today, has it? Let's be honest. So yeah, those are the 7 books that I read this month. Volume-wise, did quite well. Ratings-wise, quite a lot of 3 stars this month. not fantastic. It kind of either went two ways, 3-star or 5-star. There was one 4-star, wasn't there? So next month, let's try for more 4-stars. Yeah, we'll try. I think I haven't read anything yet. I'm almost there. I'm almost there with one, which is probably going to be a 4-star. So we'll see. We're already like not too bad for next month. Anyway, let me know in the comments your thoughts on any of these books. Tell me if you've read Delicate. I really need to know if it's sad or not, because I just can't take any more sadness. I mean, the world is sad enough after the last year. No more sadness, please. No sad books. Why did no one warn me about Sheets? It was hard going. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy reading, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!